The story opens on a massive battlefield. Thousands of soldiers clashing under a blood-red sky, spears and swords raised high as armies collide in the chaos of war. This is the Supreme Murim, a world where martial arts reign supreme. And here, at the very pinnacle of that world, one man stood above all others. There was one who unified everything. Every faction, every kingdom, every last corner of the land, and his name was Asura, the last king. The scene shifts to Asura himself, and the guy is an absolute unit. Muscular, battle-scarred, radiating the kind of raw power that makes entire armies hesitate. He stands alone on the battlefield, shirtless, facing down what looks like an enormous force. An enemy commander confronts him, noting that his madness is as persistent as ever. He asks Asura if he really came all this way just to throw his life away. The commander reminds him that no matter how great he may be, he cannot stop an army of 100,000 on his own. He taunts Asura, asking what scheme he has up his sleeve to show up like this. Asura's response is pure, unbothered contempt. An army of 100,000? He scoffs. What significance does a mere number like that hold? The enemy commander freezes. Asura keeps going, telling them they're still playing those disgusting number games, and that is exactly why they can never defeat him in their lifetime. Not a sliver of shame in them. The commander, visibly shaken now, mutters that the audacity of this man knows no bounds. Then the order rings out. Behead him. Soldiers charge. Cavalry rushes forward, weapons drawn. The full weight of 100,000 bearing down on one man. He appeared alone, without a single weapon. But his martial power was enough to overwhelmingly destroy everything. Asura unleashes a devastating strike, raw energy exploding outward in a blinding wave that tears through the battlefield like it's nothing. Soldiers scatter. Armor crumbles. The ground itself cracks under the force. The shockwave reverberates across the land. Before his power, truly worthy of being called the strongest, even the masters who once commanded the Murim fell one after another. Nobody could stand against him. One by one, the greatest fighters the world had ever produced dropped, and finally, under the name of the Sura Kingdom, a new era begins. Year 1 of the Sura Kingdom. The world belongs to Asura now, and whatever comes next, one thing is clear. This man didn't conquer through strategy or numbers. He did it through sheer, overwhelming force, the kind that makes 100,000 soldiers feel like a minor inconvenience. He succeeded. Asura unified the entire world under a single rule. The scene shows him standing tall, imposing, with flames in the background as he contemplates everything he conquered. The capital of the Sura Kingdom, Muwol, stretches out under the moonlight. A vast city nestled between mountains, bathed in the silver light of night. Peaceful, at least on the outside. The scene shifts to an isolated location in the mountains, a sinister setting surrounded by skulls and dark energy. A man named Muonol approaches Asura and congratulates him. After defeating so many enemies and finally unifying the Central Plains, he says, there is nothing left to achieve in this land. Asura, clearly with no patience for small talk, tells him to cut to the chase. Why did he call him to a place like this? Muonol explains. As everyone knows, the only king who unified the Central Plains through pure martial power alone was Asura. He calls him the greatest fist under the heavens. He says that even the pinnacle of martial arts is now insignificant before him. So to offer a secret manual worthy of his majesty, Muonol brought him here. The only one who can handle this secret manual, he claims, is Asura. A sinister red energy pulses in the air. Chains hold something massive. A sphere of dark red power spinning with a menacing aura. Asura observes it and murmurs, a secret manual, you say? There's something in his eyes, a mix of curiosity and caution. But before he can react, the thing explodes. Tendrils of crimson energy shoot downward and suddenly, chains wrap around Asura. His eyes widen. Something pierces him. Blood splatters. Muonol betrayed him. Muonol reveals his true intentions with a cold smile. Asura's tyranny ends here, he declares. As of today, the Sura Kingdom will be killed by him. It's futile to try escaping. No matter how strong Asura may be, he is powerless before the Imperial Needle, whatever that is. He tells Asura to just die quietly. Silence. Asura stands still for a moment. Then, his eyes narrow. He calls Muonol by name, and his voice is low, dangerous.
He asks if Muonol has forgotten who he is. The air around him begins to vibrate as power erupts from his body even while chained, even while wounded. He declares, "I am destiny and destruction personified." And by the expression on Muonol's face, the traitor may have just realized he chained a hurricane, and the hurricane is waking up.
Muonol panics. He screams, asking what Asura is doing, and orders them to open the barrier of the celestial abyss immediately. But it's too late. Asura, even chained, even pierced, unleashes a devastating attack. Crimson energy erupts from his body in a brutal explosion. Muonol tries to retreat, but tendrils of red power reach him, tearing everything around. The traitor barely manages to stammer just what, as he's engulfed by the storm of pure destruction. Asura wasn't kidding when he said he was destruction personified, but the damage was already done. Whatever that Imperial Needle was, it did its job. The scene shifts to what comes after, and it's not good for our guy. A group of figures gathers, and they're not mourning. They're celebrating. They congratulate their liege and hail the new sovereign of the Asura kingdom. Muonol, standing among them with a cold, calculating expression, accepts the bows. So that's what it was from the start. A coup. A conspiracy to overthrow the Fist King and seize the throne. And so, Asura, the Fist King who once ruled the entire world, meets his end in such futility. Betrayed by his own subordinate, defeated not in fair combat, but by a trap. The man that 100,000 soldiers couldn't stop was brought down by treachery disguised as a gift. But the story doesn't end here. Not a chance. A prompt appears in the darkness like a system window floating in the void. It says he has been summoned as a player and asks if he would like to participate. Yes or no, Asura, or whatever remains of him, is confused. Question marks hover above his head. Before he can process anything, another message pops up begging him to accept. And then an explosion of blue light. The scene shifts completely. A young guy, dark hair, modern appearance, completely different from the muscular warrior before. He's standing on a street, dazed, muttering that something incredibly ominous just happened. His name apparently is Yuda. A light-haired girl screams for him to watch out. A red demonic monster charges at him. A huge creature, the kind that would make any normal person run. But Yuda doesn't run. Instead, in the blink of an eye, he draws a weapon and cuts the creature with absurd speed, a single clean strike. He mutters a simple "tss" as the creature falls. Whatever happened, wherever Asura ended up, one thing is certain. The reflexes and fighting instinct of a king who conquered the world don't disappear just because the body changed. And this new world, with monsters and player systems, might not be the least bit prepared for what just arrived. The monster wasn't even the biggest problem. Another one is already preparing to attack. A creature casts Inferno Breath, a fire magic attack with a 2-second cast time and damage between 3,000 and 5,000. Yuda notices immediately. But instead of panicking, something inside him reacts automatically. A skill called Climber's Strategy analyzes the enemy skill in real time. Analysis rate climbing until. Analysis complete. His system counters on its own, activating fire resistance of plus 60% with a duration of 1 minute and 30 seconds. The Infernal Breath passes over him like a warm breeze. Without missing a beat, Yuda counterattacks. He charges at the creature and delivers the Holy Sword of Asterion, a massive golden energy strike that tears through the enemy. But he doesn't stop there. An even more devastating technique activates. Heaven's Judgments, with 9 out of 10 charges remaining. Pillars of divine light descend from the sky and crush the monster. The creature, a dragon called Inferno Bahamut, the 9th floor boss, roars in agony as the attack consumes it. A notification appears. Quest complete. The 9th floor boss has been defeated. A final quest pops up on screen. Reach the top of the tower and complete the conquest. Yuda lets out a relieved sigh and mutters that was close. The light-haired girl, his companion, asks if everything's okay, if something's bothering him. He says only the top of the tower is left now. She perks up and says let's clear the tower quickly and go see their families. Yuda agrees with a slight smile. Yeah, she's right. Let's do this. But as they advance, something changes in our guy. He reflects in silence. How long has it been since he was summoned to this world? He came with a single goal, to conquer the tower. Now only the top remains. He should be excited, relieved, anything positive.
But instead, an unease grows inside him. Why does he feel so uncomfortable? On the other side, what could possibly be waiting for them? The girl notices the distance in his eyes. She calls his name. Yuda? Us? And he doesn't respond. Silence. She then yells at him to pull himself together, asking what he's thinking after coming all this way. Yuda snaps out of his trance. That feeling doesn't go away. Something at the top of that tower doesn't feel right. And the instinct of a king who has already betrayed once knows very well how to recognize the smell of a trap.
The girl asks if Yuda's okay. He responds yes and says let's go in. In the back of his mind, he convinces himself. No matter what's waiting on the final floor, there is no monster that can surpass his stats. He's going back to his original world. That's it, and that's all. But at that moment, the being that appears before his eyes changes everything. Chained in the center of the last floor, shirtless, long dark hair, muscles covered in scars. It's a man, not a monster. A man. He slowly opens his eyes and lets out a confused sound. He looks around and asks who these people are. Yuda's group freezes. The girl stutters, asking what that is. What's with that pressure in the air? And then someone voices what everyone's thinking. Don't tell me this guy is the final boss. The chained man looks around and mutters to himself. What kind of place is this? Then the realization hits. That woman, Muonol, really did lock him up here. It's Asura. The Fist King. The guy who conquered the entire world with his bare hands is trapped here as the final boss of a tower in another world. Yuda notices the monster is capable of speech, which means it has some level of intelligence. But he composes himself quickly. Don't be fooled by appearances, Kim Yuda. No matter what he looks like, this is the tower's final boss. So, Yuda advances. He declares he'll put an end to this now. He leaps into the air with his sword raised, delivering a powerful strike. Asura, still chained, just watches and lets out a ha. As if someone just threw a paper ball at him, Yuda doesn't hesitate. He shouts this is the end and delivers the holy sword of Asterion, followed by heaven's judgments. 8 out of 10 charges remaining. Dumping everything he has on Asura. Divine light and golden energy explode on impact. Asura takes it all. And when the dust begins to settle, the Fist King lets out a grunt. He admits the kid is stronger than he expected. But his voice has no worry, no fear. He looks at Yuda and mutters, "Boy, you brat." And in that tone, in that absolute calm after receiving the strongest blows Yuda has, one thing becomes clear. Our tower climber may have conquered every floor up to this point, but now he's face to face with someone on a completely different level. And Asura hasn't even stood up yet. Asura asks with terrifying calm, "What do you think you're doing?" And with a single hand, he stops Yuda's attack. One hand. The strike that destroyed the 9th floor boss stopped like it was nothing. Yuda freezes in absolute shock. "No way," he stammers. He stopped his ultimate with one hand. Is it because he's the final boss? The climber strategy skill kicks in automatically, trying to analyze the target's weakness. Analysis rate climbs to 70% and analysis complete. The system begins targeting detected weaknesses, with a strategy success probability of approximately 87%. Yuda prepares to attack. But Asura simply says one word, "Cease," and everything breaks. Error. Error. A critical error has occurred in climber strategy. The success probability that was 87% instantly plummets to 0.43%. Yuda's entire system collapses just because Asura released a fraction of his power. Yuda is breathless, panting, completely lost. This has never happened before. He desperately wonders, just who the hell is this Ajasi? Asura, now enveloped in a reddish demonic aura, looks down and speaks with the same tranquility as always. "Hey, brat. No need to be so terrified. He doesn't bother fighting those who aren't worth his time." Yuda processes this. Not worth his time? Is that what he's saying? With Yuda's current skill level, Asura wouldn't waste even a single punch from this body on him. Instead of fighting, Asura asks, "What exactly is this place?" And then it clicks for Yuda. So that's how it works. His notifications confirm Ineffective absorption against target. Climber's strategy is useless. He gets it now. This stage was meant to prove his strength from the very start. It's not about defeating the boss. It's about showing your value. Yuda laughs in disbelief. No wonder his attacks weren't dealing any damage. There was a hidden mechanic here. Only by showing his true value can he actually deal damage. In that case, he says with a new glint in his eyes, I'll show and prove my value. Energy explodes around him as he activates his unique skill. Chosen Hero. All stats will be maximized for a set duration. Yuda has finally understood the rules of the game. Now the question remains whether his value is enough to impress a man who conquered the entire world with his fist. Yuda charges with everything. He shouts, "Eat this," and delivers a strike loaded with the absolute maximum the stat system can grant. His screen shows his stats at the top. Level 999 HP maxed, attack maxed, everything maximized by the Chosen Hero skill. The guy has literally hit the ceiling of the system. It's the strongest blow any player could deliver in this world. Asura takes the impact. And his reaction? Pure contempt. Strength and agility maxed out, he repeats with disdain. You talk about your strength with these pathetic numbers? An entire world where power is measured through little blue windows with numbers. It's utterly revolting. Asura looks at Yuda like someone looking at a child playing warrior. He decides right then and there, it no longer matters what this place is. He'll be fixing Yuda from the ground up. And then the Fist King goes into action. Yuda screams and charges again. But Asura declares he'll start with that disgusting blue window. He delivers the Fist King Asura style. Destruction. The punch connects. And it's not just any strike. Asura's fist literally punches through the reality of the system. Yuda is launched while screaming in pain. His status screen cracks. Error. Error. The system has sustained critical damage. Yuda can't believe what he's seeing. How is this even possible? A massive explosion rocks the entire tower. Yuda, completely wrecked, screams that this is fucking ridiculous. Then the notifications keep coming, each one worse than the last. All stored stats have disappeared. System recovery. Failed. Data recovery. Failed. And then, the final message. The system is shutting down. Everything Yuda built, every level, every skill, every stat he accumulated climbing the entire tower. All gone. Destroyed by a single blow from a man who considers numbers a personal offense. Asura looks down and asks calmly, "Do you see now? True strength cannot be measured with numbers. That busted numbers game ends here, you brat." Yuda is on his knees, eyes wide, completely in shock. Where it once said level 999, it now shows Kim Yuda, level 1. The guy has been reset to absolute zero. Everything he had erased. He murmurs with a broken voice, "Yes, I was wrong." And so the strongest tower climber, the hero who defeated every boss, who reached the top with maximum system power, has just discovered that numbers mean nothing in the face of real power. Asura didn't just defeat him. He destroyed the very concept of strength Yuda believed in. And now at level 1, with no system, no stats, no nothing. Our guy's true journey may have only just begun.